An American minigun on a Soviet helicopter. Ukraine, what did you do? A Soviet helicopter built in the 1960s just showed up in Ukraine with an American minigun strapped to the side, and it's shredding Iranian drones like confetti at a Moscow parade. Welcome to the latest Frankenweapon in Ukraine's arsenal, the Mi-8 with US-supplied M134 miniguns built for the sole purpose of turning Shahed kamikaze drones into expensive lawn darts. Earlier this month, Ukrainian footage revealed Mi-8 helicopters sporting serious upgrades. And we're not talking cosmetic. These birds now carry optical targeting systems bolted right in front of the landing gear, featuring daytime cameras, thermal imagers, and even searchlights for night ops. Think of it as giving an old Lada Tesla-grade dashboard. But the star of the show isn't the optics, it's the unmistakable growl of an American M134 minigun now bolted to the side gunner's station. Yes, the same weapon that earned the nickname the bullet hose of democracy in Vietnam is now chewing through Shahed drones over Ukraine. For months, Ukrainian helicopter crews had to make do with the PKT 7.62mm machine guns, the kind of gear the Soviets designed for infantry suppression, not swatting drones. The PKT fires 500 to 750 rounds a minute, which sounds fast until you remember a Shahed is a flying lawnmower traveling at 115 miles per hour. Miss a burst, and that drone is still cruising its way to its target. But the M134's 6-barrel rotary cannon spits out 3,000 to 6,000 rounds a minute. In practice, that means short bursts of tungsten rain that can turn a Shahed into fireworks instantly. Mounted on a helicopter, it gives Ukraine a literal wall of lead to throw at drones. Against a cheap suicide UAV, the sheer volume of fire is often the only thing that guarantees a kill. Okay, so how did we get here? The United States first shipped M134s to Ukraine back in late 2022, but they were like ghosts, at most never seen in operational footage. They were issued, but frontline deployment was rare, partly because mounting them properly on Soviet-era platforms required serious modifications. Now, though, we're seeing these mods in action. It's proof that Ukraine's defense industry isn't just welding scrap together, it's solving real engineering problems on the fly. And that matters because every drone downed by a helicopter saves a Patriot missile for bigger threats. Shooting a Shahed with a $4 million interceptor is like swatting a mosquito with a golden hammer. We've talked about the math problem before on this channel, but shooting it with a minigun burst from a Cold War helicopter, not only is that cool, that's just smart economics. Also, drones don't just come at noon over open fields. They swarm at night when visibility drops and response times shrink. That's why the targeting pod upgrade is crucial. The new optics allow Mi-8 crews to see, track, and engage Shaheds even in pitch black. Combined with a searchlight, it turns the helicopter into a flying guard dog. But Ukraine hasn't stopped there. Earlier reports showed they were pairing Soviet Mi-8s and Mi-24s with unarmed Airbus H-125 and H-225 helicopters equipped with FLIR Ultra-Force 350 sensors. The Airbuses acted as spotters, guiding the armed gunships to intercept drones. Now, with upgraded optics and miniguns, the Mi-8s are far more independent hunters. So why go to all this trouble? Because Shaheds are cheap, nasty, and numerous. Each Iranian-made drone costs roughly $20,000 to $50,000. Russia launches them in waves of 20, 40, or sometimes 100 at a time. They're not about precision. They're about saturation. The goal is to force Ukraine to waste expensive interceptors and keep its cities in blackout mode. Helicopters offer a mobile, reusable solution. An Mi-8 on night patrol can chew up drones for hours at a fraction of the cost, and crews trained on Soviet platforms adding a minigun is like handing a samurai a chainsword from Warhammer 40k. Suddenly, you have way more cutting power than tradition ever intended. Now, this isn't just about bolting an American gun to a Soviet chopper, it's about Ukraine reshaping its air defense doctrine. For decades, Soviet thinking was centralized, giant SAM systems like the S-300, layered with radar nets and rigid command structures. Ukraine, by necessity, is flipping the script. Their doctrine is now flexible, mobile, and modular. Helicopters with miniguns are part of that shift. They're not replacing Patriots or Gepards, but they're filling the gaps, especially at night and in rural areas where Shaheds slip through. There's also a symbolism here. The Mi-8, a Soviet workhorse designed in the 1960s, is now gunning down Iranian-made drones with American weapons. It's a Frankenstein hybrid that screams the Cold War is officially dead. Moscow once exported Hinds to its allies around the world. Now those same platforms are fighting back, fueled by NATO tech and Ukrainian ingenuity. It's the kind of mashup that would make Soviet engineers roll in their graves and Western contractors grin ear to ear. Armed with a minigun is less about nostalgia and more about survival. But it's also a subtle humiliation. Russia's once proud aerospace designs are being kept alive by the very alliance it claims to fight. Ukraine's not new to this. Remember Frank and Sam, the project that married Western missiles like the AIM-9 Sidewinder to Soviet-era launchers? The Mi-8 minigun upgrade is the same philosophy. Take what you got, mate it with what you need, and get it in the fight tomorrow. It's messy, it's patchwork, but it works. And it's teaching NATO planners valuable lessons about improvisation. If an Mi-8 with an M134 can consistently swat drones, expect to see the doctrine formalized, not just in Ukraine, but in other drone-threatened hotspots all over the world. Ukraine's new Mi-8 Franken helicopter, that name sucks. We'll figure it out. Drop a name in the comments. The Mini-Hind isn't going to change the course of the war by itself, but it adds another tool to the layered air defense strategy that's keeping Ukrainian skies contested, not conquered. Every Shahed that falls to a minigun burst is one less warhead slamming into a Ukrainian power plant or apartment block. Wait, why apartment block? Why do Russians target civilians? Oh, because they're assholes. That's right. I forgot. And honestly, there's something poetic about it. A Soviet-designed helicopter, upgraded with NATO optics, and an American minigun. Pew, 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 pew. Hunting down Iranian drones launched by Russia. If you ever needed proof that the 21st century battlefield looks nothing like the textbooks, this is it. Thanks for watching. If you've enjoyed this breakdown of battlefield ingenuity from Ukraine, hit like, subscribe, and remember, when your enemy sends cheap drones, sometimes the answer is a 6-barrel minigun mounted on a helicopter older than your dad. And as always, glory to Ukraine, glory to the heroes. Crimea is Ukraine.